إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونتوب إليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد عباد الله أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله عز وجل فقد فاز المتقون وأذكركم ونفسي بقول الله تبارك وتعالى واتقوا يوما ترجعون فيه إلى الله ثم توفى كل نفس ما كسبت وهم لا يظلمون. All praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With His divine support, we made it as we always do. Alhamdulillah for the gift of life. To summarize the last Friday's khutbah, we spoke about the box, the black box. And we say when there is a crash in an aeroplane, they will find out what happened by checking the black box. What was the last words of the pilot? Also, we will have crash one day, designed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we will be drawn out from this dunya. That was the beginning of our journey to the end of our journey, which is eternal, endless journey. But when we go through that process of leaving this dunya, all Malakul Maut will do, he will take the black box from this tent, from this body. And then we realize why I was serving this body. It's supposed to serve my soul. It's supposed to serve my black box. And that is the soul. And Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam prayed for that when he said, وَلَا تُخْزِنِي يَوْمَ يُبْعَثُونَ يَوْمَ لَا يَنْفَعُ مَالٌ وَلَا بَنُونَ إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. Oh Allah, oh my Lord, don't let me down. Don't punish me. Don't put me among the losers on the day when we will realize sons and money cannot help us out. The only way to be safe is to go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the same heart He sent us out with in this dunya as a newborn. When we are born, our heart is clean. The black box is white, and we need to go back into the box of the grave with the same white heart. So we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to get that type of heart. And we check every day what is happening in our hearts. Today's lesson, inshallah, to continue with the dua of the Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. And we are living in the era and the time of dua. And every moment in our life should be a moment of dua. When the world declared their failure and their weakness, we can only raise our hearts, our hands to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and wake up during the night, a very important time to download some heavenly ingredients into our body, into our soul, and with that, we will not be miserable people. Because the Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam told his people, whoever you rely on vanity and vain. Everyone and everything you put your trust in, but not in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are putting your trust in vain. And then he said to them, after they rejected him, وَأَعْتَزِلُكُمْ وَمَا تَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ وَأَدْعُوا رَبِّي عَسَىٰ أَلَّا أَكُونَ بِدُعَاءِ رَبِّي شَقِيًّا. I will leave you all, and whatever you put your focus on, because his community fell in love with things and people and places, and they will be disappointed. But he said to them, I put my trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I pray to him. By praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will never be miserable. Asa alla akuna bidu'ai rabbi shaqiya. So we need to keep in touch with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when everybody washing out their hands from being able to help us as a human family. We have been told that. And the Prophet Zakaria alayhi salam, in the moment of weakness, in his old age, when he became a very elderly, there is nothing wrong with us becoming elderly, it is just inconvenient. But when we live in our soul, we never get old. But if we live in this body, we will become one day weak, one day sick, one day even die. But if we live in our mind, if we live in our soul, we will never get old, because soul never gets old. So Prophet Zakaria alayhi salam said, Rabbi inni wahana al-azmu minni washta'ala ar-rashu shayba وَلَمْ أَكُمْ بِدُعَائِكَ رَبِّ شَقِيًّا. Oh my Lord, my bones are weak. As we know, time is working on us every day. And everything was young will become old and weak. Our organs, in other words, the entire body that belongs to this dunya. And that is its nature. But with dua, Prophet Zakaria alayhi salam said, وَلَمْ أَكُمْ بِدُعَائِكَ رَبِّ شَقِيًّا. Knowing the hardship he is going through, and no children to carry his good word. As we know, we live in our children when we are gone, or when we are weak, and that is the hope for every father and mother. He said, my bones are weak, and my hair is gray, but by praying to you, I will never live a miserable life. This is a moment when we want to conquer the misery. We want to overcome the terrible feeling. We want to overcome the fear. The only way to do so, if you are afraid of anything, we run away from that thing. But if you are afraid of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we run to him. فَفِرُّوا إِلَى اللَّهِ. The highway is so open. And we don't know the contact number of many so-called important people in this world. And even if you know, you can get it. And even if you get it, you may not be able to call. But with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his number is always in our heart, and he is available all the time. We just have to make the decision to run towards him, and we will not have a miserable life. This is the point number one. We need to do focus on dua. And in this season, says the dua of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, when you are afraid of invisible enemy, he used to say, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-baras wal-junun wal-juzam wa min sayyi al-asqam. Oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from baras. It is extreme, badly skin disease. Wal-junun, mental illness. And sometimes the problems are so many, and we seem to lose it sometime, but don't. Stay focused on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wal-juzam, extreme diabetes type of thing that can make the limbs of the person falling apart and falling off. وَمِن سَيِّئِ الْأَسْقَامِ, I seek refuge in you from any type of terrible disease, terrible virus, and whatever it is. With dua, we will walk this earth fearless. And I will close with this. When it happened for the first time, some of us were late in buying what we need in our hiding places. And the most famous one was the toilet paper. And if it happened again, some of us may be again late because we never care. We never pay attention. What will happen then when we're in the box? When we will say, رَبِّ ارْجِعُونِي لَعَلِّي أَعْمَلُ صَالِحًا فِي مَا تَرَكْتُ. Oh my Lord, send me back to life. I promise I will live my life different the way I lived it before. So this is a lesson for us. What we have to take with us in a time when we cannot go out no more. So we should be very expert in the knowledge of the akhirah, not only in the knowledge of the dunya. يَعْلَمُونَ ظَاهِرًا مِنَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَهُمْ عَنِ الْآخِرَةِ هُمْ غَافِلُونَ. Many people, they will never miss a cent in preparing for the safety of this dunya, the physical safety, food and water and medicine and everything to save this dying tent. But with the akhirah, zero. One man was so hard on some people, and the community complained to his mother, and his mother said to him, people complaining to me that you are too hard on them. And he said, Ma'am, when I'm hard on somebody, that person deserves. Come with me, ma'am, I will show you an example. And he took his mother to the shopping area, and he went to the butchery area. And he asked the person who is buying the cows and killing, he asked the person, this cow, how much it weighs? And he said it weighs around, and he mentioned a number. And if you kill the cow and separate the meat from the bones and the skin, how much the meat itself will weigh? And the man said it again. With the skin, how much it weighs, with the bones and without the bones and everything else. And then the man said to him, what are the pillars of the salat? And he said, oh, I have to go and find out. He said, you look, the pillars of your salat, very important basic thing, you don't know it, but you know the details of this animal inside out, with or without bones. يَعْلَمُونَ ظَاهِرًا. So intelligent with the preparation for the dunya, but are ready for the akhirah. This pandemic just to give us a wake-up call to prepare for the akhirah. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن الحكيم وجعلنا وإياكم من الذين يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله ثم الحمد لله، الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. عباد الله، قال تعالى: إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت وباركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. To summarize, what is in my black box, in another word, in my heart when I'm left, and focus on the dua. We will never be miserable with the dua because no one there for us except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And number 3 was about, let us know more about where we are going, because where we are is following us. This dunya is like our shadow. It will never be separated from you unless there is a cloud on top of you. And that cloud is when we think, if I don't do this, this will happen to me. If I don't do that, that will happen to me. Let us extend and become a skillful person and expert in the knowledge of the akhirah, because we are going there. And what is happening to the world is a sign. We can see it clearly. We are leaving this planet, but we want to be ready before we leave. اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم اجعلنا من الذين يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه. اللهم انتصر للمستضعفين في كل مكان، وعليك بالطغاة الظالمين فإنهم لا يعجزونك يا حي يا قيوم. وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.